one of our 16 matches, or of our 8 matches rather, because it's 8 matches for top 16, is playing out. We have found the legend. He made it all the way to top cut. He's my pick to win the tournament, as pretty much in any tournament he's entering.
He always has been, right?
And I mean, he's always topping. Yeah, he's always topping.
I wouldn't bet against the one and only Dinh here.
Never anybody could do that. We will see what he brought up this time. I can tell you it's not Labyrinth, so let's see what it is. Into the featured match we go. Oh, there we are already. Okay.
Yes.
We go with the good old...
Yeah, and we see players already being ready here. Dinh, the one who made the pyramid at the start of the duel famous.
Yes.
Again. At home, we already saw him with his TRICKSTAR Sky Striker deck, already making it to top 16 here. And do you think he will be able to make it even further, maybe?
I mean, who knows? He has done it until now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it even more. So we see Dinh is on branded. He's on a really high number of deck cards, and that's kind of funny because let me quickly count there. That is going to be 56 cards, and it's pure branded. Let me tell you that it's not anything thrown in there. It is just 56. So okay. I see. The players are not starting yet because the actual round is not even starting. We were pretty quick, but the head judge is just announcing the players to be starting, and there we have the fifth spot.
And there we already go here.
Top 16.
So who won the die roll? Because I haven't seen now.
We will see. Hung is already Hung looks like he's ready to play. So I would say maybe Hung, but Ka also. I think it's Ka. It looks like Ka.
And what are we going? We're starting with Blazing Cartesia here, a card that had become quite popular in recent times, but not in the Runic Bestial deck.
Yeah, that's true. And I think he's playing a similar deck to the deck that he actually won against in the third place playoff in Bologna, because Victor there was playing a high deck count branded deck, so a pure version of the deck, and now Dinh was like, I did beat this guy, but it was pretty rough, so maybe I should try that deck out myself. So he's now on a branded deck, on a pure branded deck, and it's crazy to me how this man, I mean, with Labyrinth, he stuck to the deck for a couple of tournaments in a row, but besides that, he's he's always changing up his deck.
There is talent from Ka. So the one thing I wanted to mention now, but you are holding such a nice dialogue about your love with Dinh playing style. And so I was thinking about, and I think Ka was also thinking about, do you summon the Cartesia first to be able to dodge Imperm? Or are you using the opening first in the draw phase to dodge Drone Lockbird? Here Ka decided for the wrong one, but I mean, he had talent, so he's pretty fine.
And I mean, the biggest enemy of every branded deck, of course, is going to be Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Hung had it, but he doesn't have it anymore because Talent shuffled it back into the deck right there.
Yeah, but do you think Ka can really do a lot here by being underdrawn a Lockbird?
It's definitely going to be tough, but at least he can go for a fusion summon with the Cartesia. Oh, we have, of course, go for the branded fusion, and that is going to resolve. Dinh, of course, now knows the hand of Hung.
Yeah, so, I mean, now he feels a lot safer, obviously. The thing is, I'm looking at his deck list right now, and I do not see a Gimmick Puppet Nightmare.
I love that. That's the same thing that Victor did in Bologna. The top-performing players of the deck, they just don't go for this Gimmick Puppet stuff. They think the deck is pretty good on its own. Just throw in 32 spell cards in there, and it works just fine.
Yeah, no, the reason why I'm mentioning it is because normally your maybe most obvious playline could be here just going for Graninol with the Aluber and the Blazing Cartesia, sending the Puppet, and then using Granite Fusion to summon the Albo and the Sanctifier Dragon.
Yeah.
And then just locking, but maybe he will be able to do much bigger things here.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. So Dinh now bringing the Albion to the field. We are banishing. Is that double for Novalvas that we're banishing there? That looks like
that's quite funny to go for Lubellion. I mean, it still makes sense because you have these cards in the graveyard. I mean, we're discarding the Patchwork.
Yeah, that would have been a nice card to resolve, but on that roll, of course, not possible.
Yeah, of course. And now the nice thing is we're chaining the Cartesia, fusing away the Lubellion, so we have more material on the field. So it's Ka's thinking about just going for the Dragostapelia, which would be free, but going Masquerade is Might also be a good thing, yeah.
I think he's taking the challenge of burning the opponent quicker than Trickstar Liker is. we are like, okay, I saw Trickstar Likers, I now also have to find a way to burn with my deck. Whatever my opponent is doing, I want to do better, and that's why we see the Masquerade here on the field.
Well, but I'm not a big fan of it here, to be honest, because I don't know, the burn will not be big enough, I think, but
most likely not, you're right.
I mean, here comes the Lubellion. We were sending off the Branded Fusion to get the Albion into the graveyard so that we can search or set in our end phase a Branded card.
Okay, Branded Lost is being activated.
Yeah, I mean, it is just for free. I don't think he will do a lot of it here, because he already used the Cartesia. Also, he cannot add something to his hand due to drone Lockbird, so I think, like, yeah, just having it for free is good.
Yeah.
And I didn't see what we were setting, but I assume it's the Branded Red, right?
Should be Branded in Red, but Chet maybe can confirm whether it was Branded Red, because I also didn't see it. And it's interesting now, because usually Dinkabui always plays decks, like runic decks he was very popular for, that end on a lot of cards in hand. But here we see him with all guns out, no cards in hand left, and he's completely on the table. He has no weapons back.
Yeah, but I think we shouldn't limit Dinkabui to runic decks, because Dinkabui was a name long before runic cards were public.
That's true. So we pay 600 here for the activation of the Pot of Desires, because of course Masquerade is on the field. Yeah. And Desires. What is it going to bring us? I think, honestly, yes, it's Trickstar Skystriker, but with a good hand, I can see him play through this. And then the follow-up of Dinkabui doesn't look so great.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right with that. The thing, though, is we still have more interruptions with cards like with the Cartesia here, so, which you can fuse into. And I'm not a big fan if you have to use your Desires directly at the start of your turn, because normally it just indicates that your hand is suboptimal, because otherwise you would normally just start playing, like getting your cards you don't want to banish out of the deck, and then using the Desires. But if you have to start with it, kind of tough.
Yeah, to be fair, like both players knew the hand of Hung there, because it was revealed by the Triple Tactic Talent, and just one unknown card was left. But now we go for one card that wasn't in the opening hand, and that is going to be the Widow Anchor, and we are negating. What are we negating?
We're negating the Masquerade to not get rid of him. I would believe if my opponent just uses the Widow Anchor here, I would normally think he might have engaged, so he needs to fuel up his graveyard, because like here, the Widow Anchor doesn't look that good, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's true. So we do go for the normal summon of Lycaris. Maybe we just wanted to get the Widow Anchor out before that Lycaris hits the field, because now it's obviously going to be somewhat problematic to activate Skystriker cards.
But I don't see, does Hung even have cards left in his hand, or?
I think 1 or 2 cards he has left in his hands. When you look at his face cam, he's at least holding some. Oh, it's free. I mean, we resolve Desires, yeah.
Okay, because for one moment I was wondering, like, no way Lycaris is his last card in hand.
Yeah, absolutely not. Appreciate everyone following in at the moment. So many follows coming through for the entire day, and we're still not done with this. 4 more games to be played, or 4 more matches rather, which is crazy. Also, numbers in terms of viewers are incredible. So you guys are rocking. Thank you for spending the day with us here and enjoying Yu-Gi-Oh! As we see one of the most competent Yu-Gi-Oh! Players on the planet right now here in the top 16 P-Chat match, being Mr. Dinkabui.
Yeah, and he just banished the Lycaris of the effect of Masquerade now.
Okay, and there comes Frost now.
He played into Frost. The thing is now, what is your favorite card? You would search with Frost.
In that scenario, I think
maybe it's your favorite card in general.
Ooh, it could be Engage. True, and then Engage into... Do we play Afterburner?
And we add Engage.
I mean, Engage into Afterburner here seems strong, honestly.
It looks super interesting. The thing, though, is we should we should remember that Ka has an opening in a graveyard. So if Afterburner is targeting something like Masquerade or the Mirror Jade,
that's true.
He could protect.
Yeah, so he should definitely be aware of that, because if Ka then protects, we cannot destroy the spell and trap card anymore.
And I think we really want to destroy the Branded Red here. And also, if we're using like targeting the Cartesia, it can just chain itself.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm thinking.
I think here, if we are really searching. We are searching drones. If we would search Afterburner, I think we would have to target the Lubellion.
The thing is, then we can still chain the Cartesia to go. Oh no, wait, we cannot go into Grand Guignol, because Grand Guignol needs a dark monster, right?
No, light or dark.
True, so we could still just chain it. So like, whatever he's targeting,
I think that's still better than just targeting the Cartesia.
Yeah, fair.
Still, I think, but
but there is Hornet Drones, and I think that also was the card we were searching for.
Okay. Yeah, he searched Hornet Drones. Summoning his lovely Skystriker token, we saw a lot on feature already.
That's true.
And now, I mean, I don't think I will use something like branded Chimera here or so. I think he doesn't even can.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There it goes.
Cartesia.
I mean, Dinkabui figured out there is now, when there is a monster in the main monster zone, no way for him to interact with him. So he used the effect of Cartesia. I think we're summoning into Gran Guignol, and Gran Guignol, as Nightfall in chat was already anticipating, could now just send Ad libitum to the graveyard, and then Ad libitum would be a nice target for that Branded on Red we have set.
Yeah, that's correct. Still, I don't know if Ka can really hold on to get the maximum value of Guardian Chimera, because like Guardian Chimera would have to, because Ka doesn't have a monster.
Okay. We can also, of course, just search with the Branded Loss, of course.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're right. Okay, now that makes it a lot better. Like, because what I was thinking is, without cards in hand, Ka couldn't like summon Guardian Chimera with only one monster from field.
Yeah, that's true.
But now with the Mercury in hand, he can do that and even get more and more value of it. So, like, very nicely played by him, I think.
Ad libitum goes to the graveyard. Correct guess there by the Dinkabui fan number 2 behind me, Nightfall in chat. And looks like we also are immediately going to use the Branded in Red, using all of those cards, the card from our hand too, and then Guardian Chimera.
Do you like that? Because I think like you do prevent your opponent from going to Kagari to epic engage. So, but is that worth? What do you think?
I think it is. I think it definitely is, because you know, or probably you have seen, because you played next to each other, that Hung is not really playing a big striker package in terms of main deck monsters.
Yes.
So if you prevent that token from sticking to the field, you probably are just preventing the entire striker engine from continuing that turn.
Yeah, and I mean, you said you don't know if Ding Kabui has a lot of follow up here, but now he's looking very fine for the next turn.
Great.
It's crazy. That's just a big advantage of the branded deck, that it can like generate so much resources.
Ooh, but challenge there now too. Hung is far from over. Let's draw a couple more cards there.
But Hung has to draw though. And now Mirror Jade is live again.
Yep, that's a problem. That's an issue. Hung checking the banished cards that he banished with Desires. Maybe he picked up another Engage and he's just checking for what to search. Because, I mean, honestly, now... Oh, no, wait. Afterburner still has the opening problem.
Yes, it does.
Oh, but there is Light Stage. It would have been nice to open up with Light Stage, just going after the set Branded in Red. That would have been insane, honestly.
But is there a reason why he didn't use the talents before? Because I think Ka already used the main phase effect, right?
Yeah.
But he just waited with the talents.
Yeah, I don't know. Hung figured out a line he wants to go, and that's a set card, and the set card is not really indicating anything too crazy. Seems like rather he wants to pass it over to Dinkabui.
Yeah.
Who loves to hear that, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that is not a good end for it here, Anfield. Because here we're just seeing like a set card. What could it even be? Like, what the best case is likely...
Scapegoats? I think Scapegoats at least gives you a turn. We send the Titanic Cloud to the graveyard here. And Titanic Cloud now is going to give us a nice little search.
It will give us a Quem, likely even special it, I think. Because getting the Quem is just so good here. Because, like, the Quem is like such a mandatory card in the branded combos now. If you get it into rotation, you can generate so much advantage. Because it not only pluses of you summoning from the extra deck, it also pluses if your opponent gets something from the extra deck.
Yeah, that's true. So
let's see.
Hung sitting there with 3 cards in hand and also 1 set card, and a 1 set card shall carry him through the entire turn of Ka, and Ka already has so many strong monsters on his field, so that's going to be quite the challenge.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see if Hung can somehow fight back here, because it looks really tough against the branded deck. But, well, against the turn ago, I also thought it looks over. So let's see.
Okay, so there is the Albion.
Yes. We likely do that now.
Probably going... Oh, we're going to send Fallen of Albas. I was thinking of Retribution, but...
Yes, I did as well, but...
He does not go for that. Maybe he drew it and he's having it in his hand now.
I mean, if he has it in hand, he could have gone, like, for the Albion discarding it from hand to special summon it.
Yeah, true. But he went with this way, and... potentially he has Brandon and Red here too, so, like... Oh, no, wait, he's only on 1.
He uses, but he's Brandon White.
All the branded cards.
You are close already.
Yeah.
And now it makes sense why he sent a Fallen of Albas, so that he can use the Brandon White to banish it from the graveyard.
Indeed he does. He's using the Gran Guignol with it though. And he's going to go for a Magnum the Reliever.
Magnum the Reliever. Maybe it's one of Carl's favorite cards, if I remember, like with the Runic Chimera deck I think he played once or twice.
Yeah. Oh no, he played Chimera branded.
Oh yeah, but I think he also played Runic Hammer once.
At
But I
some point,
might be
maybe,
wrong.
yeah.
I might be wrong.
I mean, he basically played any deck in the format.
Yeah, not only in this format.
Yeah, for all the formats of all time.
Yeah, and we are banishing the branded fusion to target the set card, and what will it do? We just pack it up, and
that is game number 1 to the master himself. Dinh Kabui makes no mistakes. We all know that, and therefore he casually glides and slides through that game number 1 there. It is the lead here right away, and
yeah,
I mean, as I said earlier, it's always the best candidate if you're talking about the winner of a tournament. Seriously, I think I talked about that when you were not here just yet, but
okay.
I can at least from the top of my head give you 6 or 7 tournaments, like 100 players plus, in the area here of Berlin, where Dinh Kabui went and he just won. Like he's just that guy. He's just winning all of those small, middle-sized tournaments. And I mean, at YCS, he also wins the big tournaments.
Yeah.
But I mean, he also has a tendency of coming second, third, or fourth. So he's not always necessarily going to win it all.
I mean, if you're playing as many events as does, I think it's reasonable to not always win.
For sure.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I don't think he expected to face Striker TRICKSTAR.
Not at all. I mean, nice fun fact in the chat right now. Optolux is saying Hung already plays Yu-Gi-Oh since 2004, so that's 20 years.
That's crazy.
That's a really, really nice thing to see. I appreciate that, and I then understand also why he's playing a deck from 5 years ago.
I mean, time flies by if you're playing Yu-Gi for 20 years, to be honest. Sure. So now, looking at the side deck, I mean, I don't know if... I mean, Ka plays a 56 card deck, so he will likely not see as many of the side deck cards, but there are some interesting things in it. So as an example, a card I immediately see is the Shadow Dragon.
Yeah.
A card which was really popular for branded players, like just dump off the branded fusion to just destroy a spawn trap card. But I don't know if that will be here today. Another thing I think is super interesting is if you look down there.
Oh no! I was thinking about that card all day long. We haven't seen it a singular time. And actually, on the deck list of Dinh Kabui, it's handwritten. Yeah. I have it in my hands here. And he wrote down 1 copy of Snatch Steal. And then just
crossed it again. So, Ka just stating he crossed out the Snatch Steal and instead playing Change of Heart, showing Snatch Steal is not good anymore. Here you heard it first.
That's so weird. Like, please, someone play Snatch Steal. I hope the winner of the tournament, because we obviously haven't featured all the people we still have left in the competition. We showed you all the names that are still in there. Hopefully that person plays Snatch Steal, because I'm a believer. I think Snatch Steal has been around for a lot, has shown its strength before. I mean, do you remember? Did you even play when they brought back Snatch Steal for the first time?
I did.
They brought back Snatch Steal. And they immediately regretted it, and they immediately put it back to the forbidden section. So it is crazy.
I mean, but you gotta arrive at the year 2024, Basti. That's the problem. Because, like, back when Snatch Steal was so good, the reason people said the card is too good because you can take something like BLS off your opponent and keep it.
You can still do that.
Yeah, but we're in 2024. If my opponent summons BLS, man. But still, yeah, I also like that card because the design is so iconic. The Snatch Steal, one of the best cards back then, and now sad seeing a card not that good.
Yeah. Also, shout outs to chat. I see you, Nash. Great that you also joined and having a good time, having a little bit of a laugh here. And yeah, we are also having the time of our life here. And I mean, before this tournament, if you would have asked me what's the next thing that Dinh Kabui is cooking, I would have not given you the answer of 56 card branded.
Yeah, but I mean Nash himself now joining the chat at the perfect time, seeing the 56 card branded goo.
Are you responsible? They're teammates, so maybe he was responsible.
You're right.
All right, but I think we are going into the final stages of side decking. One last look. Okay, Snatch Steal cannot come in because it did not make it into the deck. But on the other hand, we see
the Harpy Saboteur, I think, which directly jumps into my eye. Also, Dino Wrestler Pancratops.
That is really popular this week. Like a lot of people.
We see so many copies coming back. I don't know if it's even that good right now, but people just like the card, I think.
I think it is a pretty decent one, but we are going to see whether he draws that here, and we are going to go back to the table, and there we are.
Yeah. So now we see players prepared, now drawing their hands. Like, let's see if Hung will now be able to build a crazy board. I mean, I wouldn't bet for it because he is playing TRICKSTAR Striker, and it is not the deck which builds big fields. But I mean, there are some things we can hope for. I mean, like, if you're just, like, going for licorice, like a double licorice light stage setup, is a branded deck even able to play through it? Because all the burn just adds up, and so Ka might burn himself down.
That is indeed true. And we do start once again with my favorite card of all time. Engage has been resolved, and we are once more searching for the Hornet drones. Also, everyone, please stick with us. We are working on the top 16 breakdown. We're probably going to have it after this round or at the beginning of top 8. So we will give you a deck breakdown. And by already looking at the decks for a little bit, I can tell you that breakdown is spicy. And I will also try to get a couple of deck profiles from those really spicy decks that made it here into the Top Cut, so you guys can also check that out then on my YouTube channel after the event, of course.
Yeah, so the thing we see here is like Hung starting with Engage into Hornet drones, and if Engage is not able to draw a card, it kind of looks like a fair card.
It does, but I mean, it is going to return to Hung's hand again, and maybe he has more spell cards to activate. Or does he?
Yeah,
okay. I mean, he does just go with the Engage again. Fair enough.
You know what makes me kind of furious is that he plays mixed Engage artworks.
That's what I thought early on as well. I thought maybe he just wants to embrace both of the artworks, so he went with both of them. And I mean, obviously, like
the card is a 2. It's like it's designed for both artworks.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, sometimes like the issue with playing mixed artworks is that you don't want to give your opponent the info on how many of the cards you are playing. And if your opponent sees that you're playing different artworks, they will know, okay, it's at least 2. But I mean, with Engage, obviously there's no question about all of that, because you are always going to play double Engage when that card is at 2, so I don't see a real issue with that.
Or you play none if you're playing a good deck.
Yeah, that's true. No, I will not accept that.
No pun intended.
I will not accept that. It's my favorite card of all time.
And again, we see Hung just using the Pot of Desires, banishing 10 now, drawing 2, but the draw 2 gets ashed.
Ooh. So we brought in the Ash Blossoms from the side
but
deck.
we have talents, and we are going for the hand.
Okay. Oh, that hand is not too great.
Is awful. Let's see if Hung will have to read the fusion duplication, because that's what
likely. There we go.
If you don't know, fusion duplication itself is mostly a thrust target in the branded deck.
Yeah.
Because if your branded fusion gets ashed, you can set the fusion duplication, and fusion duplication says just banish from your graveyard a fusion, and then you can copy that effect.
Absolutely.
Here he decided to go for the tragedy, which I think is a very reasonable call. Because, I mean...
none of those cards left in the hand do anything.
Yes, and I mean, if you somehow get to discard the tragedy, it might do anything. But here, deck doesn't do a lot. And, I mean, Hung doesn't even need to play into the thrust.
Absolutely
because
not.
He goes just because Shizuku add a second Engage, set an anchor, and pass it over.
Okay, there is one set card, and even if Dinkabui would find a card like Branded Fusion from top here, which would be the obvious best top deck. I mean, okay, let's be real. Branded Fusion would be crazy in combination with the Branded Loss, because then the anchor cannot really be interacting with the monsters anymore. But if it would be something else, then maybe we can still just hold that back with the Widow Anchor.
Yeah, also, if like the Branded Fusion somehow hits the graveyard, he can always just duplicate it with the fusion duplication he had hard drawn. And there is Albion just being able to swing fusion if he wants to.
Dinkabui picks up Albion from the top of his deck.
The branded fusion.
Yeah.
Such a massive draw. To be fair, he plays 3 of them.
Yeah, of course.
Which we saw a lot in those big branded piles.
And look, when Dinkabui is laughing in the feature match, you know he just had a kind of lucky moment. Usually this guy is completely relying on skill, but sometimes, of course, he's always going to take a bit of luck.
For 1 second, I thought he uses Albion and just drew branded fusion.
That would have been insane.
But that would have been too much.
Okay, set 1 card, obviously going to be the fusion duplication, and over to Hung it is.
And I think this moment, Hung would have wished the set card would have been Cosmic Cyclone.
Oh yeah, that would have been huge. Imagine that set card would have been Cosmic Cyclone. Is he playing in the main deck? He's not,
no, he's signed it, but we're in game 2, so...
Oh yeah, true, you're right.
But I wouldn't sign it again.
Oh, Ash Blossom for
again.
The
Terraforming.
Which is reasonable, because you don't want him to grab the light stage, because with the light stage you could just go after the back row ban, and you just don't want to give him that opportunity.
The thing is, there are now 3 spells on the graveyard, and it feels so odd giving the striker deck 3 spells on the graveyard and ashing anything else than Engage.
Maybe Dinkabui is just more concerned about the Trickstar part of the deck.
Yeah, and there we see Kagari. Again, the second copy, and Kagari likely adding like the Engage, and yes, he does.
Okay, and I mean,
But are there even 3 spells left in the graveyard now? Or
I think there are, right? Desires, Hornet Drones, and what's the third one?
yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
What's
a
the third
terraforming,
one?
terraforming,
Terraforming. There you go.
terraforming. Yeah, we have 3 spells in the graveyard, so we will
Oh,
go.
Talents too. There was.
Yeah,
we had
you're
3
right.
before.
It's quite easy. We go into Value Town, but grabbing the what's Afterburner?
Yeah, we did go for the Afterburner, and I mean, you kind of have to respond to the activation of Afterburner if he just uses it here, right? Because otherwise, your fusion duplication is gone.
Oh, Afterburner, you can pop your own card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that could force that out, but Dinkabui on resolve apparently wants to play, and he does activate the fusion duplication.
And I like that because here, if Hung uses the Afterburner first, he could still just destroy your Lost. And without your Lost, Ka just loses a lot of follow-up for the next turns.
Oh, true, and he also just has the Widow Anchor to answer the fusion monster
you're right.
summon. So yeah, absolutely correct timing here by Dinkabui. Yes. This man just doesn't like to make mistakes, and therefore he just doesn't do them.
Yeah. Also, again, showing like he only needed just like a few seconds to realize that.
Yeah. Perfectly figured that out. And I mean, Ka at this point plays this game for quite some time. Yeah. So he has, of course, in his plenty of years playing the game, faced many, many striker decks. He even played versus the striker deck in a YCS final, losing there to Nico Schlierkamp, of course, in YCS Utrecht. But he definitely knows how to play against the deck.
What did he play back then? Was it Burning Abyss?
Yes, it was the Hydralander Burning Abyss deck. It was glorious time.
A crazy pile, maybe even crazier than the one he's playing today. But somehow it always works out for him, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of deck building, he might be the single best player we have in Europe for sure.
Yeah, and now especially because he is executing it again and again at a very high level.
Yeah, maybe even in the world, I want to say. But
yeah. But I don't know.
I'm biased because I'm like his biggest fan. You guys know that by now.
So we are going for the Lubellion here, of course, to get like more value of tragedy, I guess. I mean, what are we discarding? It's the Frost, yeah.
Yeah, we just discarded the Frost because Hung is never ever going to play into it.
Yep.
And I mean, we are also in Hung's turn.
Yeah, Hung now, Khan now explaining to Hung that loss prevents him from activating anything.
Oh. Wait, we're double reading? he was invited to read his own copy of Branded Lost there, and okay, do we miss something here? I don't think we miss anything.
I don't think we miss anything. No, that should work like that, I think, because I don't see a big difference between fusion deployment or the Branded fusion being activated.
Yeah,
but I might be wrong.
Okay. I don't know what the issue could possibly be here.
I also don't know if the banishing is any different.
And Kai is also like, I don't know what that is right now. And it looks like they may want to go for an appeal because like they're currently sitting there waiting, I would assume. Okay, yeah, we got the information by the judge as well. So let's quickly bring it over to us here, and we are going to talk about that a little bit. But I don't even understand the ruling question there.
Well, I think the only difference that the fusion duplication could make is that Brand Fusion is banished somehow. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that really makes a difference, because I would say no, but that's the only difference I see for Branded Fusion. Because if Branded Fusion is activated, there would not be any appeal here. Because then we would all know the...
Look at that! Nash actually says Lost doesn't protect here, because it was fusioned in Chainlink 2.
Was it fusioned in Chainlink 2?
Yeah. No, wait. He did it on an open...
No, he did it on the open board.
Yeah. I think he did it on Resolve. I think he did it on Resolve. So, let's see.
That's what I mean. I think it was Chainlink 1. There.
Okay. But let's trying to figure this out. Yeah. Duplication was on Resolution. Yeah. I think we're right in what we were saying. This should absolutely be protecting here, and he can also just do it there.
But I mean, let's see. If this fusion here resolves, I think Carl's still in a pretty good spot, because likely we will get into the Mirror Jade here. Mirror Jade just being able to interrupt Hung here, and then we might even be able to grab something like Mercuria.
Fair, yeah, absolutely, I can see that. Yeah. And right now the question in chat is, how can I see the tournament? You can just stay with us here. Top Cut just started, so watch a couple more rounds, enjoy your evening with us, or wherever you are located. Maybe you're also enjoying breakfast with some Yu-Gi-Oh!
I mean, it's a half night, to be fair now. We have 3 more rounds to go afterwards.
Yeah, and speaking of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And being in the action, players are ready again, so let's go back to the table and see how this one is turning out. There we go.
Okay, there we are back. And now let's see how they resolve it and what they say.
Okay.
Hung is using the Ash Blossom on Tragedy. So judges said that Ka is actually that the Lost is not protecting here.
Okay.
And Hung is now just activating the Ash on the Tragedy and chanting Widow Anchor on the Lubellion.
So I think Fable might be onto something, because Fusion Duplication does not include in the fact that Fusion summons, but I think...
I mean, no, that's right. It's just copies and effect.
But at the end of the day, I mean, Branded Lost just says when a monster is Fusion summoned, right? So, like, the Fusion summon is still applying.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, it's not the first Branded Lost ruling. That's a bit tough.
Yeah, and I mean, we have very competent head judges here, so I'm quite certain that this ruling was applied correctly there. But that is a quite tough ruling for Dinkabui, because that takes him behind a lot. He does not have a way to play all of a sudden anymore, and his plan just didn't work out there.
Yeah, and I mean, he obviously didn't know, right? Because otherwise he wouldn't have gone for that play, I think.
Yeah, okay. Oh, look at that. The one and only Joshua Schmidt in chat saying, no, it says Fusion summoned this way. So that is maybe the puzzle piece that we're missing. Ooh, okay. Cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is Fusion summoned this way. Okay, so that is a part that we were missing, and therefore, of course, the one and only Pazin, who's our head judge today, made the correct call there, saying, yep, Dinkabui looks like he made kind of a mistake there.
And big respect for the head judge catching that so quickly.
For sure. He knew that ruling by heart.
And now we just saw Hung going into VSP Little Knight, banishing the loss, and now we are in a situation where Skystriker might be able to grind a bit.
Yeah, I think so. At this point, Dinkabui still is left with no cards that really let him play. We saw his hand early on with Triple Tactic Talents, so we do know what the last card is, right?
The Wrath was discarded.
So it's an unknown card in the hand?
It's an unknown card. I believe that card drew a card, and Hung just banished the Lost, and that's why he wasn't able to attack directly. And why we'll still both place on 8k.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But now I think he just attacks.
Yeah, okay. Also, Dracosag, thank you so much for the sub, 6 month it is. And also, Chris, dropping the gifts up to Joshua Schmidt. Appreciate you, my man.
So, let's see. And we see Ka picking up Harpy's Feather Duster. Normally a card that some players have a jump scare of, right? But I won't say any names.
Johan, of course, hates this trick. Oh, and Norman summoned Aluber. Yes, Aluber. And do we have an answer?
We banished SP, but that is not the answer you were hoping for again.
Nope, absolutely not. That is really not helping too much.
And now let's see. There is Droll and Lockbird being dropped by Skyjack, but Ka has talent.
Where do all these cards come from? That's crazy.
I think we passed a few turns here. Okay. Because, as you know, the Skystriker deck is not the fastest in OTK.
Indeed, and now Branded Fusion is resolving.
Yeah, and now Ka looks completely fine. He must send you Lubellion, I think, because he doesn't have a card in hand. And likely doesn't have a second Lubellion in the extra deck. But still, he will be able to get a lot of... Oh no, of course, he can also send the Cartesia for follow-up.
That's what he's doing.
From me, yeah. And let's see. Does Hung have an infinite impermanence here? Because that one could be crucial.
Yeah, that would definitely be the card he was looking for. But that's not a card you keep in hand when you already have an established field. Yeah. So I don't think Hung ever has that card there.
But Effect Veiler might be one, but it doesn't look like it. I mean, also Ka just had a look in Hung's hand, so likely he doesn't have a real disruption here.
I would assume so too. And now Ka again smiling and laughing, and it's always a good indicator that the game is going his way. He summons out the Mirror Jade now, and this might be enough already to completely win this game. Of course, we did not go for the Lubellion send because Branded Loss is already in the graveyard, and therefore I don't think we would have had another card to activate from our deck.
Yeah, that's likely right, yeah. I'm interested to see if Ka maybe even uses the Mirror Jade here on his Albion or so to get like more material in the graveyard, because let's be honest, the Trickstar Skystriker deck doesn't have that many real monsters that are a threat, I think.
True, but at first we are going to bring back the SP.
Ka, of course, will in Battle Phase likely and put 5,500 damage in, and we are getting back the SP Little Knight here.
Yeah, indeed, down to 2,500 Hung is, so I think if he wants to have a say in this match, he has to do it here this turn. And Dinkabui right away
using the end phase, of course. Using the end phase. And now I don't know if Hung really has a way here to get back. Let's see. So, but what could he even draw here? That's the question.
Hung. What do we have? Engage from the top. Please do it. Do the engage move. We all want to see it.
Show us the main character energy.
Hang on a little longer. But yeah, the scent of Rinbram there, of course, is another good thing because we now have an additional interruption in our graveyard. So, Hung.
Let's see. What is Hung doing here?
Does he have something? Come on.
Here's the afterburner left.
Okay,
Sure.
okay. We go after Albion, and I mean, isn't we kind of happy to have Albion in the graveyard? And there's the handshake, so both players are happy, both players are smiling, but only one is going to move on, and that is going to be Dinh Kabui with a swift 2-0 victory. Okay, so after being the Prankits Master, being the Runic Master, and being the Labyrinth Master, apparently he's now working on becoming himself or making himself the Branded Master as well.